All right, guys, Fitness Friday. So I'm gonna talk to you today about what do you do when you're working out, you're crushing it, you're on the diet, you're losing weight, you're gaining muscle, you're consistent, and all of a sudden, a wedding or a business trip or a family crisis or really busy with work happens or whatever, right? Or there's a lot of really good Netflix shows on and you just binge watch those things for the 3 weeks in a row and you stop going to the gym. Okay, how do you get back in? What do you do during that period? We're gonna talk about that today. And if you stay to the end of the video, I'm gonna share with you the supplement that I take to get back in action. Make sure you watch all the way through. Let's get it kicked off. All right, guys, Fitness Friday, where we talk to you about fitness and health because health is a part of wealth. Now, I actually had this happen. I was crushing it. I felt like I was a bodybuilder again. I was doing my workouts. I was in the zone. I was hitting all-time highs on my lifting. I was doing cardio like twice a week. I could run for 4 miles straight and not get tired. And then I took like 3 weeks off, 2 to 3 weeks off to do personal development, right? For myself, for my business, for my staff. And when I do personal development, as a quick note, there's 2 reasons I do personal development, okay? The first reason is for me. Right? I tend to look at myself like an astronaut, like in a spaceship going into the atmosphere. When you get high enough, shit starts falling off, right? And I have a tendency to get to that altitude before I'm like, oh, I need to go work on myself, right? I'm about to lose something, okay? So I make sure I do that for me, but I also make sure that I do personal development for those around me, right? I need to be taking care of myself so that I can be what I need to be to the people around me that matter in my life. And that's why I do personal development. So sometimes I will take 2 to 3 weeks off of most things and I'll lessen all my activities to really go hard on personal development, okay? Now that might not be what it is for you. Maybe you had a wedding, right? And you're very busy with planning and you're like, I didn't go to the gym for like 3 weeks or 2 weeks or a month or whatever, right? Maybe you got a new cat and you've just been obsessed with that thing and you haven't gone to the gym because of that for 10 days now, right? Or whatever it could be. Maybe you've got midterms coming up and you've got stuff for your school. It doesn't matter. The first viewpoint that you need to have is the most important areas of your life are the ones that you can't win at, okay? And I'm gonna share with you what I mean by that, right? So let's say that I have a financial goal. I can win at that. I can achieve the number and I'm done, right? Now, should I have a next target? Yeah, I should. There should always be a next target. So the areas where it's like you've got a definite target that you can win at, there should always be a next target, but there's certain things you can't win at. Meaning there's not a finish line. It's not like you finished and you're done, right? So fitness is one of those things. There's not a pinnacle of like, I achieved the goal of fitness and I'm at the finish line of this part of my life now. It never happens. A marriage is one of those things, right? You're never gonna be like, I achieved the goal of marriage and I'm at the finish line. What's my next goal? Let me move on to the next wife now. Like it doesn't work that way, right? Or, another one would be, spiritual development. Right? Like I've achieved my goal. No, it's not really, it's a constant thing. So the most important areas of your life are marathons. They're constant things. They're never ending. And so because of that, there's going to be ebbs and flows, right? So fitness is a bit more like, if you're looking at it, it's one of these areas where you're always going to be working on it and it's measured on a trend long-term, not a stat, right? If I measure myself on a stat, what does that mean? It means that I want to keep the stat up now. It's a very short-term focus. Okay, tomorrow I want to do better. Today, that's with money, I could do that. With cold calls, I could do that. With marketing, I could do that, right? And obviously I want the trend to be constantly climbing, but with any stat, there's going to be temporary dips, right? Now, here's the key. What condition were you in before the dip? How quickly do you bounce back up? Right? Or if you're in a condition where, a slight halt, a slight dip isn't going to stop you and you're going to pop right back up again, then you don't really need to worry about this because that means you've built the habits, right? I'm doing this thing called the Big 3 Challenge. The Big 3 Challenge is a financial habit builder. It's about, studying for 10 minutes every day. It's about increasing my income every day. It's about monitoring my expenses every day. And so far every day, the last week, without fail, I've done those 3 activities. Even if it meant I did them late at night or I did them at odd times or I didn't do other things so I could get them done, fitness is habit-based, right? So if I was in a condition of my habit where I'm in power and I'm not having to worry about, having to rebuild a habit or getting remotivated, then it's a very different experience. but I've got to get there first. And so the best thing you can do for yourself is be consistent. That's how you build a condition of power in your fitness, is you're consistent, right? It's about keeping it in a range of I'm always doing the right activities, and it's kind of this normal trend, right? Especially with fitness, you don't want volatility. You don't want, I gained 20 pounds, I lost 20 pounds, I gained 20 pounds, I lost 20 pounds, right? And that's what a lot of people do. They go on these fad diets that aren't able to be done long-term. It's not sustainable. So they take tapeworms, or they take whatever cleanse, and for 3 weeks they don't eat anything, and they drop 30 pounds of what they think is fat, but it's really just water weight and glucose. And then they come off the thing and they're like, oh, I feel so great. And then 2 weeks later, they're bloated again. Okay, you don't want a yo-yo. This is not the stock market. This is your fitness. You want slow, steady progress that's sustainable. You can repeat it. It's one brick laid after the other, right? You lay that brick by brick, okay? Now, if you're not there yet, and let's say you're like, okay, I'm clearly not there. I don't have those habits yet. This is not an area where I'm, on a daily basis, just like that on an automation. I go to the gym and I do my fitness and I do my supplements. Let's say I'm not there yet. The number one thing you need discipline with habits that you know you can do, right? And that's different for everybody, right? For me, I might be a much higher gradient of like what I'm able to adopt as a habit, because I do have that foundation. If I'm brand new, I should be thinking about, okay, what's one thing I can do today that makes me better than yesterday with my fitness? And I just keep adding that little by little by little and building that consistency, rather than what are all of the things that, a professional bodybuilder or a fitness competitor or a bikini model would do. Let me do all that at once. Well, that's probably not sustainable, right? Just like with finances. Think about this. You've never done anything with finances, and you come see me and I'm like, okay, cool. Right now, all at the same time, we're going to set up life insurance and a trust and tax planning, and you're going to start investing, and you're going to do debt settlement, and you're going to build your credit, and we do it all at the same time. You're going to be confused and get no results and probably have a bad experience. But if I say, cool, you're brand new, let's do an assessment first and let's just find out where you are. Right? Next thing, let me give you some basic education. Next thing, let's just cover the basic of you earn more money than you spend. Let's do that for a while. Right? Now that you've got that down, let's put you on a forced savings plan. Right? And you're keeping the prior things in. Right? You build that consistency. And that's what makes you, when you have these times off, it's like you can bounce back up again. Right? So let's say you're not there. You're not bouncing back up yet. You're like, I have the time off. So the first thing that you should do is anything you can do. Okay, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, go for a walk, go for a run, do a quick workout. Like, anything is better than nothing. And there's this polarized all or nothing mentality that we tend to have. I've scheduled to go to the gym for an hour. I can't make the full hour, therefore I'm just not gonna go. Right? Imagine if you applied that to other things. It doesn't make any sense. I scheduled 15 minutes for a shower. I can't do it, therefore I'm just not gonna shower. Right? I expected a certain amount of toothpaste to come out of the little squirting barrel for the toothpaste, the little whatever deal that is, and less came out than I thought, so I'm just not gonna brush my teeth. Right? Or, I expected, my spouse to, be in a better mood, so I'm just not gonna be nice to them today. It doesn't work like that. You've got to take what you've got and figure out how to be resourceful with it. How do you get results out of something that isn't optimum? Because if I can only win with optimum situations, I'm not going to be very successful in any area of life that I apply that mindset to. So I had to overcome that one many years back because I was a bodybuilder, right? So my life was going to the gym. I would do 2-hour workouts. When I started getting into fitness, I was like, shit, I can't do 2 hours. I scheduled 2 hours, work got busy. I can only do 20 minutes. Why even go? It's only 10% of what I did, okay? 10% of what I did before is better than 100% of zero. Right? I'm going to repeat that. 10% of what I did before is better than 100% of zero. I will take progress over nothing. Right? And that's what this is about. It's about progress. It's about progress and consistency. So get in the gym and do what you can do. Okay? The other thing you can do too is you can control what you eat. Okay, I might not be able to exercise, but I can control what I put in my mouth during this period. So, if I'm, and this is strictly from a calorie standpoint, as a numbers thing, it's just math, right? So if I know I'm not going to the gym, and let's say that I figure, okay, I probably burn 400 calories in a workout, for example, or 200 or whatever it might be, I need to eat 400 calories less a day, right? I can't eat the same amount of food, do less exercise and expect that I'm gonna stay in shape. No, I promise you're gonna gain weight. It's literally a mathematical certainty that you will gain body fat. So if I'm not working out, and I burn maybe 300 calories in a workout, okay, the average like healthy meal is probably 400 or 500 calories. So one of my meals, I need to lop it in half just to maintain what I'm doing, right? And that way I'm not gaining extra body fat during this period. But again, I think you should still try and do some exercise, so it doesn't have to be as crazy. But if you can't, the diet can definitely be there. And you maintain and fight for that consistency in it. It's something that I say fight for because every distraction in the world, you know, the old Newton's law, if it can go wrong, it will. Everything that could happen will probably show up. And it's about my unreasonableness with, no, I'm gonna make this happen anyways, okay? And then finally, when you get back in, do it at a gradient for like the first week or two. Don't go back to like, I'm back in the gym now. I'm still doing my workouts probably at like 50% of what I did prior, right? Because I had that time off. I got to recover, but my body needs to get back into the swing of it. So that's what I would say on getting back on track. Now, here's what I used to get back on track for myself. I said I would share with you the one supplement that I like, okay? So if you go to First Form, the link is going to be in the comments for my First Form website. I'm a Legionnaire with First Form. I use their supplements. They have a pre-workout. It's called Formula One. Okay, I believe it's called Formula One. It might not be called Formula One. I'm very bad with titles and names, but it's their pre-workout. We're going to have the link for this in the chat. And what that has is caffeine, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, the things that you need to be motivated and energetic to get into the gym. Sometimes that little kick is what it takes to get the spark going again. So check the link out. That's what I've got for you today, this Fitness Friday. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time.